Hello, how are you people today? Well, today what we've got for you today is a tactics made simple video 4. I think that's what it is. What have you learned till now? What have we learned till now? Let's see. So, as you can see here in the picture in front of you, we've got two teams lined up against each other in a 4-4-2 formation. What had we learned up before? So, imagine this is a kickoff with this Kafandra team kicking off from left to right, so the ball is kicked forward. You can see that these players here, over here, as you can see my cursor moving around them, these players here are in a compact formation. Now let's just suppose that the ball is passed in front, just for your info, the TZLC, we are still going as per the old rule that the ball has to be kicked forward, and it not like hockey where you can kick any bleeding way, you know what I mean? Yeah, so anyway, it has to, first pass has to be forward. Now this bloke can take a kick obviously directly in goals as well. If you didn't know that rule, that is allowed, but that's impossible covering around 50 meters. And this goalkeeper over here would have to be a real ninny to let that ball go in. Anyway, I'm digressing as I usually do, and let's carry on. So once the ball is pushed forward over here, well, this team here, the Kafandra team, can start attacking in any way. Let's just presume the ball is laid off directly over to the right midfielder over here. This right midfielder over here. Obviously, if this does happen, then when the ball is played, if these players, like these players over here, stick in the middle, as you can see by my cursor, then once the ball is played across over there, this bloke has a free run down to the flank, along with the ball obviously. But that does not happen. As the ball is played forward, these players here will be moving across to cover. Accordingly, thereby, as you can see here, as I move these players one by one, they will be moving in a compact position. Automatically, when this player gets the ball, he can't find any way through. Therefore, he probably may have to play the ball back, unless of course his striker comes all the way through and makes space over here. But still, it would be difficult, as these players here, let's call them the black team, are playing very compact. As soon as the Kafandra team play the ball back across from player to player to player like this, then this team, which is the black team, will move across in sync over across to the other side. And this was just a brief summary of what we did, of what we explained tactically in the tactics videos being shown to you previously in 1, 2 and 3. I think 3 are done. Yeah, 3, and this must be the 4th. So now what we're going to go through today, well, we're going to go through simple basic movements of players in any formation. Yes, in any formation. We have been looking at only the 4-4-2 formation as has been set up here by the black team and the Kafandra team. Now, positioning, player positioning when you have the ball. At this moment in time, the Kafandra team here has possession of the ball, in which case these two strikers, which have clearly marked over here and over here, these two strikers are in the wrong position. I mean, what is the use of passing the ball across in your own half, if you get what I'm saying, when the other team over here is defending in their own half? As you can see, that is one strategy which can be applied, defending in your own half, which means in short that these black team players, the players wearing the black shirts, will only start going in for the tackle when the ball comes into their area with the player in tow. Then they attack the ball. Otherwise, if these players are stuck in their own half passing the ball about, then these players over here will be playing to their strategy, which is to defend in your own half. Obviously, this tactic will be cobblers if the Kafandra team here is already 1-0 up or 2-0 up or up by a goal or two. Then there's no use defending in their own half, because that's just playing boring football, because all this team will do then, Kafandra team will do then, is pass the ball about here, because they would be going for a win. But knowing Kafandra, even if they're 1 or 2 goals up, they would still probably go for the attack, and they would probably get balls out forward. But again, once again, I'm digressing. And what we're going to do here, the black team is defending in their own half. So we were talking about the strikers. The strikers here are playing in the wrong positions. The strikers here should always be playing with the last two defenders, central defenders, regardless to say if this black team is playing with a sweeper. Right, let's just say this black team is playing with a sweeper, and they're not necessarily playing 5-3-2, but they're playing 3-5-2. So then we can see that this formation has moved up in such a way that they're playing a 3-5-2 formation. As we can see, two strikers here. Let's just bring across the left midfield if you can sort of see what I'm doing here, and a central midfielder across over here. There you can clearly see they're playing with a three-man central defense, of which three central midfielders over here, a right midfielder and a left midfielder, and two strikers. These right midfielders and the left midfielders are not necessarily playing in right midfield and left midfield. They can also be called as left wing backs and right wing backs. In this case, then the formation would be a 5-3-2. But right now they're playing a 3-5-2 formation, which means that these two players here, the wing midfielders, are focused on two things: either getting the ball up into attack or defending as well. There are so many permutations and combinations, but let's just stick to positioning in a 4-4-2 formation. So, as I'm saying, even if the black team here were playing with a three-man defense, these two strikers would obviously be focused on the last man defenders. Always. They should give these defenders a target. If they stay all the way up by dropping back, usually in a 4-6 formation, which is being used all over the world now, where you have strikers who are not strikers, but they're playing more as attacking midfielders or centre forwards, where they constantly drop back to receive the ball from the central defender or the central midfielder, then these 3 players, 4-5 players, will have nothing better to do. Therefore, you have to have the 2 strikers who are marking right at the back. Let's just shift back to a 4-4-2 formation for the black team as we move it across all the way there. There we can see quite clearly. Just for clarity, I will ensure that the black team is more spread out and not compact as usual, so you can understand what I'm getting through. Even with the midfielders here, sorry for sniffling like that, even with the midfielders here playing so deep, it's of no use. So these midfielders should be taking up attacking positions in the black team half, along with the right midfielder who's pushed up, and so on and so forth. Then we can see the left back, the central defenders also creating a lot of space here, with the ball being passed around. Now if these 4 keep passing the ball around, it would still be boring, wouldn't it? It would. Therefore, if they keep passing the ball across like this, using the goalkeeper as well and spreading the game around, excuse me for that, not only would it be boring, but it would totally go against the game, the idea of what football is meant for. It's meant to entertain the crowd. So what can happen here is the 2 central midfielders can drop deep again to receive the ball from the defenders. But we're not going to do that here. That's only going to happen if the opposition 2 strikers come up to hassle the 2 central defenders. Then these 2 central midfielders can drop into positions in gaps. But here we're looking at the black team not pressing into the opposition's half. So if we move these players all the way back and go back to the situation where these 2 are just piddling about passing the ball to each other, it's of no use. One of these defenders should bring the ball up. Automatically the other players will adjust, and automatically this black team will be ready to hassle. The central midfielders here should be making spaces in around the black team, constantly moving hither and thither, with the right midfielders, the left midfielders, the left backs, the right backs also constantly making runs hither and thither, creating space. In this case, if the 2 central defenders end up passing the ball in their own half in this area, it would be okay, because the 2 central midfielders and the strikers are constantly looking for opportunities for the defenders to push the ball up. Now, in a passing game, the defenders will be passing the ball across indirectly. By indirect, I mean through a direct link. Now, let's say this right central defender passes to left central defender. They are linked directly. If this left central defender passes it all the way across over to this bloke over here, right back, then that would be called a direct pass. That would be skipping this player over here and this player over here. Usually when you're playing a passing game, this is not what we look for. This is not giving a direct ball across to the right back, say skipping a player here. Always gives an opportunity for the opposition to attack the ball. When the ball is in the air, this is usually what happens. So, are we constantly going to keep passing the ball along the ground? No, we're not going to do that. Sometimes, and it's usually the central defenders, central midfielders and the strikers have that option to spray the ball about directly. In which case, let's say in this case here, where the central defenders have the ball, they pass it to the left back here, and immediately the right midfielder presses, the right back presses the left midfielder, and then they can't do anything. This bloke can't do anything. He passes it to the central midfielder. This central mid right opposition central midfielder covers him, so he passes the ball back. Oops, that was a mistake. Sorry for actually shifting the entire ground. I hope that doesn't happen again. Anyway, that's what I wanted to move the ball. So he passes the ball back to the central defender. Now what's going to happen here? At this moment you can see the striker making space over here and this striker also making space. Even if the two central defenders follow them, a long ball, a long high hard ball over to the striker can create space for the midfielders who come running in off the flick on. You see, so you have to keep chopping and changing. But let me just specify. 12 minutes gone already. Let me just finish this off. The tactics made easy, made simple, part 4. Let me just make things simple by telling you people who are setting up a team or so on and so forth. The entire team should be on the same wavelength. You know, you should all be either playing to one ideal, one tactical strategy, which is defending in your own half when you lose possession of the ball, trying to win the ball back within 2 or 3 seconds, but then coming back to defend in your own half if you lose possession of the ball, thereby making sure that you won't let in goals. Number 1. Number 2, or for that matter, you can, for the other strategy, you can press in their half, if you know what I'm saying. Press really deep in their half, constantly putting the other team under pressure. You can play to this tactic as well. It's all I'm trying to say here is the tactic should be reflected by all the players in the team. Now, if these two players have no clue on what the rest of the team is doing, now if this team is basically pressing in their own half, the two strikers from the other team come up and make position, so to the central midfielders. Look how much space the black team has got. Suddenly, with one ball across, they have totally put this team under pressure. There's a 6 against 4 situation here, while these guys are busy falling back just because they're not working on the same plan. So let me just say, when you're playing a passing game, everyone should be playing the passing game, but you've got that option 10% of the time to change it around. You know, go for a long ball. Sometimes you have to do that, and that's all I'm saying. That 10% rule is always handy. Here's me saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night from the Kafandra AI studios. Thank you.